everyone, and welcome to Meet the Chef by República del Cacao, a space to get inspired, learn from each other, and build community with purpose. I am Michelle Roman, North America Brand Manager for República del Cacao. Today, I'm honored to introduce Angela Borah, head chocolatier at Cruther Handcrafted Chocolate. She's originally from South Korea, has lived in Spain, Ghana, Peru, before settling here in New York City. She gained pastry experience at renowned establishments like Del Posto, The Modern, Per Se, and Maribel Chocolate. Today, as head chocolatier, Angela oversees a program recognized as the 2021 Best Chocolate Shop in America by Food and Wine magazine. She's also a member of Les Dames d'Escoffier, New York, and a visiting chef instructor at L'École Valrhona, Brooklyn. Thank you for being here, Angela, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I have to say, you're one of the most traveled people I have met. Well, not only traveled, but also you've lived in so many places: Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, North America, which has to be amazing exposure to different cultures, but also different flavors.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm curious to know how your background being from Korea, but also living in all of these places, influence your cooking today.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was very lucky to be born by my parents, who, through their life circumstances, we moved to different countries. And I was born in Korea, but then grew up in Spain, Peru, and Ghana. And throughout my travels, I wouldn't really say travels because I was so young and I was living in those countries, being part of the culture and being, eating, trying their food and all of that. And I believe that those kind of experiences influenced me in a way that I was a little bit more open to perhaps different flavors. And then, of course, I came to New York about 20 years ago after graduating from college. And then, of course, in New York, forget it, right? There's so many different kinds of immigrant communities, cultures, cuisines, and all of that, I think, combined really made me the person who I am, and I believe that that is also being translated into the food that I'm cooking today.
Yeah, and you mentioned so many different flavors that, as you said, you were young, so you're just experiencing as part of like what you were eating. Do you have a unusual ingredient that maybe came from one of those experiences that now you use in a dessert?
I think that my Korean background, of course, it's something that I always grew up eating, and the food that is. And then there's a specific ingredient that I grew up with, which is called misugaru. So misugaru is a 10-grain powder that has like all different kinds of nuts, seeds. So an example would be like pine nuts, sesame seeds, soybeans. So essentially, it's like a health drink. So when I was a kid, I would be feeling a little bit tired, and my mom would mix that with sometimes honey, with water or milk or sugar, and then it's basically like an energy drink.
Yeah, high protein. Yeah, that's
high protein energy drink to get all excited. And then I love that flavor. It's so grainy, nutty, healthy, and that really translates really well into chocolate. So I said, okay, one day, why don't I try that and then try to put that into one of our pralines and see how it works. So it really marries beautifully with almonds and hazelnuts. So at the moment, we do have a bonbon that is a misugaru flavored praline.
Oh, that sounds amazing. All of the nut flavors, I have to try it now.
Yeah.
And all of these cultures, and especially I feel like Asian, have a lot of tradition in how they make their dishes. How do you approach the balance between tradition and innovation in pastry making?
So I do believe that tradition is so important, especially as a professional in cooking. You do need to know your basics. You do need to know how to properly make a crème anglaise, to how to make a ganache. I call that tradition because without having that background and understanding like traditional flavors, I don't think it'd be easy to necessarily try something a little bit off the road. So first, it's really important to learn the tradition and be comfortable with it, and then use that as the backbone to infuse and include different flavors. Because without the tradition, there's no background. You're just putting different flavors, and it might not necessarily have the balance, or it might not necessarily make sense as a dish or a chocolate.
Right. It's like kind of like the base of like in a building, like the base structure. That
Exactly. You do need to have the base solid. Everything has to be lined up, and then you can think about painting it with, I don't know, pink color on the wall or whatever color that you want.
Right.
But without that, then it will be peeling.
Yeah. And so after you have those bases and like structure, how do you keep inspired to have more fresh creations and keep innovating?
Honestly, I do believe that interacting with our team members at where I work with the younger generation helps out a lot, because they have a lot of passion and energy working with us, and they might not necessarily have the skills yet, but they do bring in new ideas and new things that I myself might not haven't even like thought about. So just by being with them, they're like 20 years younger than me, you know? Just being with them, I get energized, and my mind is more active, and I do think about innovating.
Well, that's great, because I feel like that's where the mix comes from. Like, you're teaching them the tradition and the bases as well. So and obviously exactly. You're a great someone they look up to. So now that we're talking about looking up to people, if you could collaborate with any chef in the world, who would it be and why?
I think this is probably the answer to a lot of people, but I believe that Chef Melissa Koppel, I really look up to her a lot. She is extremely talented. She seems like an amazing professional. Her creations look beautiful. And also she is a mom of two, and I just recently became a mom as well. So I know how hard it is to juggle both your career and also this family, new family. So just watching her being able to do that is something that is very inspirational.
Right. No, I think that's true for any industry. I feel like us as women are slowly getting more into, okay, I can do both. I can be a present mom and I can have a successful career. But I was reading one article a couple months ago that was like, we need leaders that also represent what we want to become. So it's great that you have her as an example, and just seeing that is possible.
Right.
Exactly. Do kind of the same. Yeah, that's awesome. And congratulations on
Thank you.
So I think it's safe to say you love chocolate. What is the best part about working with chocolate?
Good question. I think that I just love being part of this ecosystem of chocolate and understanding that what I do on a day-to-day basis is just a little tiny percentage of it. So of course, like, let's talk about the cacao tree, 3 to 5 years to grow that, and how many people are involved in that process, from growing it, the farmers, to the collection centers, and then from there, how it's being treated, how it's being manufactured. And then after that, finally, we get the bag that you guys make. And then from there, we get to like transform it. So just being part of that chain, I think it's really meaningful. It's really about honoring the medium chocolate, and what we do is just a tiny portion of it,
It's an important portion. But yeah, I do agree, to pay kind of like respect and homage to where the ingredient comes from. And as you said, like all the work that is put before even seeing the final chocolate drop. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you know, República del Cacao does a lot of work with the farmers and with the communities, as we do everything without intermediaries. So like hand in hand with the local farmers. So talk about chocolate and your experience with it. Have you ever had a creation or a pastry fail spectacularly? So I say it this way because we all learn from our mistakes. Is there a specific experience that comes to mind that maybe you learned a lot from, and like what happened?
Oh God, I'll never forget this. So this was about a little bit earlier in my career, and for Halloween, I decided it would be a good idea to make a pumpkin spiced ganache with a Halloween like jack-o'-lantern on top. So I did a testing and then finally produced the whole batch. And then a week later, I got a call because I had given that as a sample to someone, that there was this green mold.
Oh, worst call.
Oh God. Oh no. The whole batch was ruined. And what I realized is that, so normally in the chocolate world, there's a term called water activity. So when you make a ganache, the filling inside, you have to make sure that the water doesn't escape. So your emulsion has to be stable and there's not too much water activity. Otherwise, the water will try to escape and it's gonna become mold.
Mold, right.
And I was using pumpkin puree, and I was using that as the other purees. So a lot of the purees that we received are already like treated, pasteurized, and all that. And for the pumpkin, I just use it straight out of the can. Yes, I did heat it up, but I was supposed to be cooking out the water.
Oh.
But I didn't know because I wasn't experienced at that time.
Right.
Just made the whole batch and the whole thing was ruined.
Oh,
and
no.
It was awful to see all that green mold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange and green, kind of Halloween colors,
yes.
but not in a
For
way
Halloween, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. But I mean, yeah, you learned something critical and important that I'm guessing like helped you out in the rest of your creation.
Right. Yeah.
So going back to having the basis, but then adding color, and you were saying let's add pink. If you could create a pastry inspired by a famous artwork, what would it be and how would you design it?
So I did think about this a lot, and I would say that I would do it inspired by the artist Mark Rothko. I don't know if you're familiar with this artist.
No, not really.
So Mark Rothko is an artist from the abstract expressionism period. So during the 1950s, 60s, after World War II. And he's well known for his like giant color palettes.
Just Google it. Yeah, giant colors.
Color palettes. A lot of times divided by 2, by 3. And when I see that, I'm really inspired by the different color schemes. And I would do something along the lines of that. So right now, when we do our enrobed chocolates, it is sort of like a color palette scheme. So I actually brought one just to show I don't know if you can see that.
So if you put it in front of your face, it won't blur? Yeah.
Yeah. So this already has like the 2 layers.
Yeah.
And you could do 3 layers. You can do different path of 3 with a ganache or a praline, and then sort of create that color scheme. Definitely not inspired by the themes of the artist, because the artist was right after World War II, so the themes are very depressing.
But the colors.
Right, but the colors. Yeah, the colors.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, nice. Very interesting. I love art, so I always like to know about new artists, so now I'm going to look him up.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. So I like to always finish with a quick rapid fire questions. So I'll give you a couple of questions, just like this or that, easy, and you let me know what you choose. So white chocolate, milk chocolate, or dark chocolate?
Milk.
Milk, okay. This one might be difficult. Korean cuisine or New York street food?
I would say Korean cuisine, yeah.
Morning person or night owl?
I used to be a night owl, but ever since having a baby, now I am forced to wake up in the morning.
That'll change your schedule for sure. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Okay. And last one, favorite kitchen tool?
Favorite kitchen tool? I would say a mini offset spatula.
Okay, love that one. Well, that wraps today's Meet the Chef segment. I want to thank you again, Angela, for sharing a part of yourself, of who you are with our audience, and being part of this community. It's thanks to you that República del Cacao gets to be a local brand with global impact.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Michelle.
And I can't wait to try the new bonbons with the different flavors and colors. Now I'm going to be looking for that.
All right, great.